So folks, I'm really sorry about that. It seems to have, I just had to restart my game there, so you're going to have to just give me a moment to get everything up here. We've got Dan, who just fell down getting a terrible exit from the hairpin. 2 seconds, just need to get all this sorted here. We'll see Rizzle going and catching the back of Wild Dog. Is he going to try a Fernando Alonso move and going around the outside of 130 yard? Don't think he's ballsy enough for that yet. So there we go, folks. Sorted that out. Really, really sorry about that, but we'll now be able to get back up. Hopefully Benji can get back in. I'll see if I can send him a quick invite. It shouldn't be a bother. There we go, got him. Right, so I've just went and sent him an invite, so see Rizzle losing the place too. Little Majin, oh, getting right in there, up the rear of Little Majin, and it looked like he was almost about to take both of them out there into the gravel. Fortunately enough, that was not the case, and Rizzle managed to keep it just under control, and Little Majin moved out of the way just in the nick of time. Nicely done there. Going to move up to the front of the field here as you see Fernando Alonso charging down Little Jim, trying to get past here. And in fact, we've not even talked about tyres here. You'll see the most of the grid is on the medium yellow walled Pirellis. We've got J disconnect there for some reason, and Jeezy Peeps ended up missing Fernando Alonso there and getting the move done on Little Jim going into turn one. Nicely done. Fernando Alonso takes the lead of this Grand Prix. We've got Jay, who's lost a place to Quack, unfortunately for him. We've got CJ Drum, who's fell down one place after Wes has came up 2 places, so nicely done there from Wes. One of the highest gainers, him, Idle North, Little Majin and Dan have all gained 2 places as things stand right now. Let's see, is Wes going to be able to make it 3? That's the question. We'll see if that is going to be the case. Not if he's going out wide like that at the hairpin, unfortunately. Not going to be able to get anywhere with that, as he's lost quite a bit of time to Jay up ahead now and fell out that DRS on just ever so slightly. We'll see if he can pull it back in before the end of the lap. Benji, unfortunately, keeps on disconnecting, it seems. Right, last time, and we'll get him in real quick. We'll just spam him with loads of invites. Whoopsie, that wasn't meant. Oh well, never meant that. Oh well. Hopefully they don't join anyway. Let's see, Little Jim going for the move here. Well, not getting close enough. There was a little bit of an opportunity that could have arisen, but didn't. So unfortunately, the problem with this track, I will say, is it's more designed for, I would say, narrower cars and smaller cars, but nevertheless, it could still provide nice racing, excellent racing that we could see. Idle North getting a 3-second time penalty. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. Who is that for? Oh, well, it's for 2 people there. We've got Idle North, actually. And it was also his teammate Dan who actually spun off. We've got a VSC now. as Wild Dog is into the gravel. They are getting it back running again, so that's fortunate enough for the Ferrari. Never got stuck, but that front wing has got stuck, and that has been left in the gravel. We've got a safety car now. So safety car is out. That'll be a good for some drivers like Wild Dog, who's going to be able to catch back up to the back of the pack. We've got Fernando Alonso jumping it in. Quack is going to be taking the lead of this Grand Prix as Little Jim and Fernando Alonso both jump in. Wes taking up second place now. Hard tyres are on for most of the grid who have came in to pit. Of course, a bit unfortunate for Wild Dogs. He's just pit not too long ago. That must have been while we were at our little intermission. So let's see, we've got Sophie's just came out, Dan, Benji and Wild Dogs just coming into the pits now. So Rizzle's got 6 seconds worth of time penalties and Idle Nord is on 3 seconds worth. So let's see, we've got 3 drivers on the medium tyres now. So not many. Everyone has either pitted for the hard compound tyres or has started on them. In the case of starting on them, you see the 6-lap-old hard tyres for Little Majin and Rizzle and Idle North. All 3 of them started on the hard compound tyre. So let's see, just went on to lap 8 there. We've got Wild Dog who's just coming through Spoon Curve right now. So almost the entire field has caught up to the back of the pack now. We're just waiting on Dan and Benji. They just came through, well, Benji's just come through turns 3 and 4. We've got Wild Dog who's just came into the pits to get them hard tyres back on. It would be quite good, I will say, as if you can just change the front wing. That's all you want to change, but you want to keep the tyres on, of course. It is a bit unusual how the game doesn't give you that option to just be like, no tyres, just wing. Or as Lightning McQueen once said, no tyres, just gas. Of course, I never understood that, why they call a liquid gas. Of course, I'm getting into all silly stuff now. But let's see, lap 8 now, be about to start lap 9 soon, after Wild Dogs came into the pits, and they came back out, just come through Degna 2 now. We may end up seeing a light safety car, is it? going to be a late call into the pits, possibly, or are we going to do another lap? I think it's most likely going to be another lap as things stand. Yep, another lap it is going to be. So another lap behind the safety car, of course. We see the top 4 have all still yet to pit, including Idle North, who's sitting in 7th place. Everyone else has made a pit stop. I think it's only them who haven't. Yep, so the top 4 and Idle North. So 5 drivers out there have still yet to make a pit stop. So let's see, safety car should be in at the end of this lap, and we will be able to get underway racing again. Looking at the order right now, let's see, Clark is up 3 places, Wes up 5-10 for a lot of margin, and Rizzle is up 8 positions. Of course, they have all still yet to pit. All the drivers who have fell down positions are technically in front of the other drivers. As things stand, since the other drivers still have to make them pit stops. Soph and Dan, only 2 gainers who have not pit as things stand right now. That's of course with Benji unfortunately having connection issues, and Wild Dog unfortunately having that incident going through the S's. But now we have got the message from race control to say that the safety car is in this lap, and we see that red Mercedes safety car pulling away and pulling into the pits. Quack is going to be the one who's taking us away, and on them medium tyres I don't suspect that it's going to last very long, as Alonso on them hard compound tyres will be getting superior grip to the rest of the field up front, with them being much fresher. But we'll see how things do end up panning out, as Alonso does have that Alpine of Little Jim bearing down on their diffuser. We've got a yellow flag. CJ Drama is taking the Mario Kart shortcut there. Fortunately, he didn't have any mushrooms to help him, so he ended up losing a lot of time across the grass. Through Degna's 1 and 2 now we go, as Quack is on his way up to that hairpin of turn 11. Let's see how Benji is doing. He's battling out with Wild Dog, and it looks like he's going to get done also on the exit. Is he going to be able to get a better launch? I don't think so, but he's managed to get the Ferrari of Wild Dog. And is Wild Dog going to try and send it up the inside? That spoon, he does. That was a very ballsy move there from Wild Dog. Benji being careful, so ended up throwing it out a little. Fernando Alonso's now managed to get past Rizzle and up into 4th position. We've got Benji, getting a right wobble. That would have been very catastrophic indeed for the Ferrari, who dives down the inside of Dan to take that 12th position after just getting possibly spooked quite a bit there by Benji, going left and right and all over the space. Dan, is he going to get close enough? Nope, doesn't look like it. Little Jim has now managed to get past Rizzle. They staying out on them hard compound tyres, not doing them any favours, unfortunately. You see Alonso's now closing in on Little Majin just up ahead as they're coming into Degna 1. What I miss, I was watching Japanese highlights from earlier. Well, fortunately enough, it's just been a safety car up to now, as a couple of drivers did end up going off. So not much, and Benji disconnecting. CJ Drama just spinning off there. I think it was CJ Drama. I don't think so. And yeah, a bit of connection issues, unfortunately, on the cell. Looking at Alonso going up the inside at 130R, and he manages to make the move. Is he going to manage to keep it though? Looks like he is, but the Alpine is coming up. Atom of Little Jim is sticking with Alonso here and not letting him pull away too much. Now Alonso got the DRS and the slipstream, pushing to get past Wes here and move up into that second place. He needs that overtake to happen, as now he's got a little bit of a buffer to Little Jim behind, and all that has to do is just stay in the way and just try and keep that position for as long as possible, and that is what Alonso will be counting on, and that will allow him to pull away and try and go for that. Oh, now that is a safety car. Who has crashed out? Is that Wild Dog? Wild Dog did end up going off, I think. Is there any... that is turned into a spearhead again. I got to do a 100% Silverstone race soon. We'll do that once my dinner has settled. Oof, 100% race at Silverstone. Yeah, that sounds fun, but at the same time, not so much. But wishing you the best of luck in that race then. We've got another safety car here. Wild Dog has DNF'd from the session, and that looks like it's up at the hairpin, taking it a bit too much going around that little kink of turn 10 just before the hairpin. It looks like he's smashed that Ferrari into the wall, so we won't be having a Ferrari finish this race, unfortunately. Wild Dog, commiserations, I think. So, drivers coming into the pits. That is all the drivers who, have yet still to pit. They've just came in. Well, except from Little Majin, only one who has stayed out on them tyres from the start of this race. So Little Majin still on them hard compound tyres. Looks like they're trying to make that one stop work. See if it does work for them. If they end up getting another safety car later on in the race when it is time for them to pit, probably in the next few laps, it could be worth it. But we'll soon see how that does end up faring for them as they end up coming around. And then I'm having to do 100% races as another league I'm in. The top tier race lines are full distance, and I'm having to get used to full distance again. Oh, that is quite hard, I will say. Getting used to, it's just the endurance in your well, depending on your seat, but it's mostly your arms. It's if you've got a not so comfy seat, it could also be the butt. As I know for a fact, sometimes I've felt my legs after getting out of the seat, and I've just been like, I could stretch my legs now. So I hope you're comfy at least. My seat, unfortunately, isn't. It's one of the ones that sort of sits upright like a car seat, unfortunately. So I can't really sit back and down the way that I would like to. But hey, I'm not going to grumble at what I got quite cheap, fortunately enough. So Safety car is going to be coming around again, and we're going to be not getting underway until the end of lap 14, it seems. Oh, your seat isn't comfy. Oh, a little thing I ended up doing before was getting some like cushions from like or like pillows from like for like on the couch, pretty much. Just them little ones, and using one of them to sit on top of the seat, and it did help quite a bit. And having it at my back, another one at my back as well, and I'd be able to be a bit more comfier. Unfortunately, my back's not the best. It's not as I'm not as young as I once was, unfortunately. So we're halfway through this race, and I think we've had, what, is it 2 or 3 safety cars now? So let's hope there's no more and we could get racing again. Little Margin's still the biggest gainer as things stand, up 10 positions, but yet still the only driver who has yet to make a pit stop. Everyone needs to fuel burn. They'll have at least plus 3 laps of fuel. Yeah, it's going to be a bit mad. At least we know that no one is going to run out of fuel. I remember that happening once in a league I was in. I think it may have been RTG a couple of years ago, and it was actually chaos because half of the grid didn't have enough fuel to go until the end, and ended up, unfortunately, some of them ran out of fuel on the last lap and ended up dropping a lot of places. Safety car is in now, and we can now get going. Oh, looking at that Alpine, we can see a bit of front wing is missing. We've got Little Majin, who's just went and got a 10-second time penalty for collision with a Little Jim. We've got Jay Hartnell and Night Flash side by side, turn 1. There's a bit of wheel banging there between Silver and the Alpine. Silver on the inside and the Alpine on the outside, but switches back around for turn 3, and that allows both of Night Flash and the Little Majin, Night Flash and Benji to get up and get into third for Little Majin, who's actually moved down the place. Night Flash managed to get an excellent jump there, and brilliant restart, I will say. So he's up into third at the moment. Benji doing a great recovery drive as things stand for being disconnected and such at the start, and having quite a bit of disconnection issues. It would have had that happen to me in Monaco if it didn't crash. So, well, that's one thing I always make sure of, depending on the track, is make sure I've got at least half a tank extra of fuel at the end of the end. It's not really worth it. Looking down here, CG Drama and Swinney are going side by side as they're going up to 130R, and it looks like CG Drama is going to manage to get that position back using the slipstream, being super helpful, and they're going to send it up the inside of Rizzle, take a bit extra apex and manage to get up into 10th position, but Rizzle is going to be coming back at him. A little bit of wheel banging going on there, and has Rizzle actually got any damage there to that front wing? I can't see anything. It doesn't look like it. Looks like it's all clear. Quack has went and moved up into 8th position over Wes, who's just went and lost the position, moving down into 9th. Fernando Alonso has actually managed to create quite a decent gap there, and has got that gap to over 1 second. 1 second is splitting each of the cars from their nearest competitor on either side of them down to 4th position, who's Little Majin is still right on the tail of Benji here, who's sitting in 4th position with Jay Hartnell Quack, Wes, CJ Drum, all the way down to 13th place, all still within a... Oh, Soph and Quack swapping places. Is Quack going to get it? Yep, it looks like he does. Managing to go around to the outside the 230 yard, getting a better exit off the hairpin. We've got Wild Dog here. My wheel disconnected again, couldn't steer. Is that why you ended up with a spearhead front wing, unfortunately? I've been there myself. Unfortunately, the wheel has unfortunately disconnected before. It's not the best thing in the world. We've seen Little Majin there, and what the hell happened there? We've seen cars going all over the place there. CJ Drama getting spun around there from, I think that was Wes in the Haas. Has any of them got any damage? Oh, CJ Drama just missing out there. Got Rizzle and Idle North going side by side, going through turns 1 and 2. Rizzle going up into 9th position. That was actually quite incredible. I thought I'd seen a Williams going all the way over to the left hand side there. Seconds, let me try and see that. Your front wing due to an incident with Benji. It's a bit unfortunate. Oh, sorry, Rizzle really knows how to give me the fear there. That was really close there. Looking at from Swinney, Jay Hartnell and Quack battling out there as they were coming up to spin there. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Who is that? That's Dan, who's pointing the wrong way. It looks like he's maybe had a collision with someone. Unsure who exactly that was that they did have a collision with. But yeah, a bit unfortunate with your wheel disconnecting, of course. It's not the best when things like that do happen. Hopefully your wheel can get sorted. And Benji now moving up into 3rd place to get up onto the podium as things stand right now on lap 18. Big lock up going through turn 2 though. So we've got Alonso, Jim, Benji, Night Flash and Little Majin. That is your top 5, followed by Quack, who's having a go on Little Majin. A little bit of contact there as we're going through turn 6. And Little Majin and Quack just managing to walk away with that and be all safe. Quack's going to have to try and rein it in a little bit. Where are we at next week? Let me go and have a quick look while all this action is going on. Next week is double points at Brazil in Interlagos, so that is definitely going to be a highly anticipated race. I will say so. Expect big numbers from that, of course. Expecting quite a I completely forgot what was going on right there. But looking on at Quack here, is he going to manage to get the overtake done on a Little Majin nice and safely? It looks like he is. And Jay is going to fall through on the inside. Nicely does it. Managing to take advantage of Little Majin not having any DRS. Got a yellow flag in sector 3, I think. Is that Dan? Dan getting a bit of shape, I think, and spinning off, but still managing to be okay. Anyway, so, and get going, no damage for them, so that's a bit fortunate. Rizzle trying to save a little on the battery as they're going through the Degness. We're on lap 19 of this Grand Prix. Night Flashes fell out of the DRS window to Benji now, and it's two 2 to 2.5 seconds between each driver. Well, between first, second, and third anyway. Rest of the field is still quite close, and is Quack going to be able to close in on Night Flash to get the DRS? We've got Wes, who has retired from the Grand Prix, and we've got another safety car. So I think I have a feeling I know what happened. He got a bit on this curb here and falling it into the wall. That's just my general assumption. So let's see, Tom's saying, Brazil, okay, I'm going to be there and show my extreme pace in the slow silver. We'll see. We'll see how well you do. Last time I raced in Brazil in a leg race, I got took out on the final lap. Oh, that is heartbreaking, I'm not going to lie. That is quite heartbreaking. So see Dan managing to take a little margin there, little margin just coming into the pits. So everyone has came into the pits. Alonso is on hard tyres. So I'm unsure if Alonso did mean to go on hard tyres or he had no fresh softs left. So that's maybe going to be a bit detrimental to them. But fortunately enough for him, he's got Benji and Night Flash just behind him, and they'll be able to fend off from Little Jim, who's been his main rival in this Grand Prix up to now. He's used all his mediums, so let's have a look. Right, so have a quick look. He's used mediums, hards, but whether I think he used a set in Night Flash got the best tyres in the top 40. Yes, it certainly has. Yes, I think he's could possibly end up coming up for a good result here. Could end up on the podium, of course. Because CJ Drama and Benji, who are on the worst tyres in the top 10 anyway, unfortunately Dan is going to, if he comes into the pits, which would be highly recommended, guess not, or he's gone for a harder tyre compound for the weekend, quite possibly. That could always be a possibility, going for the harder tyres, taking an extra set of hards instead of the softs. So hopefully we're going to get ready to get running again at the end of this lap, and then we'll be able to get 6 laps of racing before the checkered flag does end up falling again. So let's see, we should find out just before 1:30 if the safety car is going to be in. We should get that message from race control to let us know. So Thomas, your money on little Night Flash then, I take it. Your teammate who's sitting in 4th place on 1 lap old mediums right now. We'll see if that is going to happen. Of course, Fernando Alonso is on the hards, and that's not going to be as grippy, but he has got a little bit of a buffer between them, considering Benji also. Got Night Flash and Little Jim who could be battling it out. Let's see, we'll get to the front here, and it seems that CJ Drama has went, and it looks like Little Jim is already past Night Flash, but Night Flash using a bit more of that battery to squeeze in front there. Rizzle, Quack and Idle North there were quite close together. Swinney, sorry, as well, going down the start finish right now, going through the S's. Little Majin overtaking Soph, moving up into 11th place. We're on lap 22 in this Grand Prix. We're moving up to Alonso right now. Let's see if the Spaniard is going to be able to make a move at any point. I think that was Idle North and Jay swapping places. Night Flash and Little Jim swapping places, and Little Jim managing to get up into 4th, while we see Jay and Rizzle, Quack and Rizzle and Idle North and Jay battling out here. Both of them are going to be side by side going into Spoon, and it looks like Idle North is the one who's going to be walking out on top, but hold on a minute, he goes out wide. Rizzle is around, and Jay manages to move up 2 positions there. Rizzle fell right back down to the back of the pack behind Dan on them old hard compound tyres. Fernando Alonso's managed to get past CJ Drama, who's fell right down to 7th place. So that's a bit unfortunate there. I did end up missing what happened there between CJ Drama, how he ended up losing so much time. But looking on at the gaps right now, Fernando Alonso's still sitting within that DRS window. He needs to pull away another couple of tenths of a second, which he's doing actually quite nicely, as Benji is being beared down on by Little Jim, our championship leader at the moment. Let's see, is Little Jim going to be able to get Benji, who's on them 9-lap-old mediums? Fernando Alonso not being as confident through the Degnas and the hairpin there. It seems losing a couple of tenths on Benji. Coming into Spoon now as we're on lap 23. You see a few drivers have managed to procure some penalties, such as Swinney, Idle North, Little Majin and Dan, who have all ended up getting 3-second penalties, with Rizzle sitting at 9 seconds worth. Quack, is he going to go for a move going into the Casio triangle? I don't think he is, but Jay is going into 130R, and he manages to get it done and move up into 7th place. Little Jim is going to go for the move on the Haas. Who is going to be quicker here? Is it going to work out? Oh! We almost seen a Senna-Prost reenaction there. That would have been absolutely catastrophic for both of them there. Fortunately enough, these cars have enough grip in them to at least stay semi-glued to the ground in that sense. But Little Jim is putting the pressure on the Aston Martin, who's out in the lead now. Got that gap down to 2 tenths. Is he going to go for that move at any point? Oh, he had a look there going into the hairpin, having a look down the inside. Night Flash has been spun around. Quack moves up. Swinney looks like he made a place up, but has moved down. Quack letting Night Flash back past. I think that was a little bump from Quack, so allowing the driver past. Soph going for a move there, looking for that gap at Spoon there, but not managing to get up close enough. going on board with the Little Jim. Is he going to send it down the inside of Casio Triangle? Nope, he's going to opt to wait for the DRS zone. Swinney could be about to be overtaken again for that 4th position, but right now we're getting on to the lead battle right now as Little Jim is going to be taking control of this Grand Prix, but Alonso can still come back since we have still got 3 more laps to go, 2 more DRS zones that will allow overtaking, so he's got enough and ample time to go for it and get time to get that move done. Idle North going a bit wide there at turn 5. Got to be careful keeping it on the tarmac. Quack is right on the tail of Night Flash. Night Flash not being as confident on the brakes there, ends up locking up, going into Degna too. Oh, and the Williams of Quack sending up the inside. And is Idle North going to be able to follow suit past? No, it doesn't look like it. Night Flash managing to hold off on that 6th position. He's having a look, getting close, but ends up toning it down a little as they're coming into Spoon. Going to move up to the front of the field again as we see Little Jim and Alonso just firing it through. 130R coming into the Casio Triangle for the 25th time in this Grand Prix. And we're going to be going on to lap 26 now. Is Alonso going to be using any of that barrier? Nope, he's going to be trying to save as much as he can and just try and stick with that Alpine. Can we see a change for the lead coming up in the next moment? We've just got to stay tuned to find out. Dan getting another penalty, another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Of course, it's not going to mean much since he's already got quite a bit, but of course he could end up getting 12th place due to Rizal having 9 seconds worth. We see Swinney getting a little bit out of shape there, coming out of Degna too, and that's going to allow Night Flash to get that car alongside, gets the car slowed down a lot better and gets a better exit, but he was on the outside of the corner. And Swinney manages to keep that 4th position. Of course, has a 3-second time penalty, so that is not going to be helping their case, and they're going to be falling down quite a few places considering the amount of cars that are behind them. Of course, Idle North does have a penalty also, so he won't be able to make the jump on Swinney. We're going to move up to the lead now as we go on board with Alonso, who's currently sitting in 2nd place. Is going to be using all of their battery, all that might, and they're going to send it up the inside. Nope, they're going to go around the outside, going into turn 1. Absolutely spectacular to take the lead of this Grand Prix. Absolutely lovely there. Night Flash and Swinney battling out there. Night Flash managing to get up into 4th position. Swinney could be falling down here, not managing to hold their own against Idle North. Of course, this is definitely a battle for position between the Aston Martin and the V car by Idle North and Swinney, both having it 3-second time penalties, but Quack ain't caring about the penalties and is wanting to get this done on the track and get them positions without the interference of penalties. Oh, that was ballsy there from Quack there. Little Jim and Alonso still battling it out like crazy there. That's just done coming through the Spoon and Degna there. He's far enough back and shouldn't cause any interference. We're looking on at the lead here, and Little Jim's trying whatever he can, and Alonso's got plenty more battery there since Little Jim is running very, very low on the battery. And now coming into the Casio Triangle, Little Jim trying to get anything possible. It doesn't look like he is. Now look, Alonso comes across the line to take victory, with Little Jim coming in 2nd, the 3rd for Benji, then Night Flash, Quack, We've got Swinney. Jay, is Jay going to get anywhere? No, Jay does end up moving up in front of Swinney to take that 6th position. CJ Drama in 7th. Soph managing to get an 8th. Nice job for her. And Swinney moves down into 9th with a little margin. 10th. Rizzle 11th. Idle North coming home in 12th. Oh, what happened to Idle North? I did end up missing that. And Dan is going to be the last driver to cross the line. So we did start out with 15. Unfortunately, we did end up losing 2 drivers, and so we ended up finishing with 13. So I will say fair play to Benji there for managing to pull back there after having a terrible start to the Grand Prix, being a bit stuck with the with disconnecting, of course. That was a big issue there, but Fernando Alonso managing to walk away with the victory after starting in 2nd place. Nice job from them, and the little Jim also coming home in 2nd place. Great battle from the pair of them right up until the end, with Benji coming home in 3rd, Night Flash in 4th. 5th for Quack, who also set the fastest time of 1:30.948. Jay Hartnell in 6th, 7th for CJ Drama, Soph in 8th, 9th for Swinney, 10th for Little Margin. Then we've got Rizzle, Idle North, and Dan rounding out the rest of the grid. Wes and Wild Dog, unfortunately, did not make it to the end of the Grand Prix, so commiserations to them. So let's have a quick look. So we've got Brazil next week on Sunday. And then on Saturday we've got Mexico, which is a sprint race, and that's for WWR. So we'll see how all that goes. So what we'll say, folks, is it has been lovely tonight. Until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves. And from me, it is peace out.